Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make, well, I think its official name is a modified ZZ fold card, but I like to call it a stretchy card because it stretches out. So it's got the Z, the Z, and it's stretchy, so call it what you may. I think it's a rather fun card. I'm going to be using the bees again. I think this is my most favorite set out of the current holiday mini catalogue. Not holiday, the January to April, the spring mini catalogue. It uses the Busy Bees, the Be Mine paper, it uses the Be Mine stamp set, and it uses the Bee Builder punch, which has got the bee and various hearts and things. So without further ado, let's get started and I'll show you the ingredients that I used to make it. It starts with 2 pieces of Daffodil Delight. So you can either do 8.5 by 5.5 or 4.25 by 11. It's a half a sheet of cardstock, but then you've cut it into 2 pieces. So it doesn't really matter where you got it from. Do the diagonal and be a rebel. It's then got a piece of the designer series paper, which as I showed you was from the Be Mine, and that's cut at 4 by 5.25. It's got a piece of basic black, which is a 3 by 3 square, and this is cut using the stylish shapes. So it's got that little edgy edginess on it, and it is the largest one. I think it's 2 3/4 is its actual size. Oh, I measured that way, you couldn't see it. You have to take my word for it. Would this face lie? No, I didn't think so. And then the inside is a piece that's 2 3/4 by 11. The original one I'd seen, Dawn Griffiths, I think, was the lady that I first originally saw it with last celebration with the owls. But I realized if you did 2 3/4, you can get one out of the piece of cardstock. So however wide you want it to be, I mean, I don't think the 1/4 inch made that much difference on the inside, but it did mean I could get 3 out of one sheet of 8.5 by 11. And it's scored at 4.5 and at 9. So actually, let me just go ahead and give those a quick crease, because this is the piece we will be using. So we have to fold it back on itself so it gets that ZZ shape. So that's the inside done. What we need to do now is to create the bees. So the bee builder, it's just wow. There are so many pieces, but it's so worth it in the end. So I'm going to make one of each, and rather than you sit and watch me make multiples of them, I have made a set already, but I'll show you quickly how you do that. You take the little oval body part, and using the Daffodil Delight, we'll stamp that onto a piece of basic white cardstock. So that one was quick and easy. And then we will get his body, and we'll do that in the Memento black ink. So ink it up nice and inky. And then all you do is line it up over the yellow, and you get that 2-step look to it. So that's the bee built. So you know what, let me go ahead and cut that out as we go along. So you'll need 3 of these, but like I say, rather than you watch me build them, this is how you do it. So you get 3 bodies for the card that we need. So we can pop that off to one side. Then the next part that we need is his little antenna, which you just stamp with a little antenna stamp, pop it onto the same piece of basic white cardstock. When you bring the punch back in, there's a little heart. Sorry, I keep putting everything out of the shot. There's a little heart, which is great because it can be a heart or it can be the shape that you cut your antenna with. So you just line it up inside so you can see it's going to cut it nicely. Whoop. Whoops. Ooh, it's fling, flang, flung somewhere. So there is the little antenna. And then what we need are some wings. I was actually going by the bees that are on the designer series paper, And the bees on here are made with, let me put the lid back on the black. The bees are made using the petal pink. So I am going to do my hearts in petal pink. So we'll do it with this little piece, which is enough of the wings that you get the idea. Stamp it onto the petal pink cardstock and bring the punch back in, and the big heart is the shape that cuts the wings out. As you can see, you get the wings, and there you have it. It doesn't matter that it's not a complete heart because it goes behind the bee, and that's what makes the wings. The next piece we needed was the little flower. Now the flower is 2 stamps, but there is not a punch or a die for that. So what I did was I did them by hand ahead of time and just fussy cutted them out. So bring in a scrap of paper and we will get, actually that's not the one. I'm going to use Granny Apple Green and stamp it off on a scratch of paper and then stamp it onto the basic white. And the same deal with the flower. I'm going to be using the Sweet Sorbet. So we'll just stamp it off on the scratch of paper and stamp it just so it's not quite so intense, and then cut them out. So like I say, I went ahead and did that already. So now what we can do is we can build our bees with all the pieces that I pre-did by the power of television. And then the only thing we need to do is put their cute little expressions on. So here are the 2 other bees for the inside. So I'll bring in the silicone mat, because when you're putting glue on the edge of something, it's nice to know that if you overrun, it's not going to make your work surface all sticky. So we'll put enough glue on the wings so that they can attach behind their relevant body. But the antennae were quite small. So what I thought I would do was just use glue dots down in the tippy point of the heart, and then there's enough there that it can go behind, whoops, the bee and make the set. So let's get building. So we'll take the front guy and we'll put 1 wing behind and the other wing behind, because he has 2 wings. We'll take away the glue dot backing and we'll give him some antenna. So there's 1 bee built, and then we need 1 bee facing left and 1 bee facing right. So this guy can be the facing right, and peel off the backing paper, put it in there, and then this guy can be facing left, and again with the antenna we'll take off the backing paper, and there you have it. So the 2 little inside bees got a smiley face. Let me just check, that's the big happy face. I actually just put everything onto as many blocks as I had that were the right sort of size. Let me just, there's the happy face. Let me find the little happy face guy, and we'll put him onto the teeny little block and bring back in the Memento black ink pad. So we'll give this guy a little happy face. I just love this face. I think it's, I mean, they're all cute, but this particular one, I don't know, it's just looks sort of smugly happy, secretly happy. And then on the guy who's going on the front, we're going to put the closed eye smile on this guy just like that. And you'll see on the designer series paper, some of them have got little rosy cheeks. Well, it doesn't come with rosy cheeks, but we do have a marker that goes with the sweet sorbet. So I will just give him his own little smiley cheeks. And then the last step for the bee building is to put the flower on. So a couple of little dots of glue, oops, on the back of the leaves. And that can go there. And then on the back of the flower, I thought I would just add a glue dot because it's big enough to be able to hold it. There we go. And then the last thing these little guys have is arms. So I'm actually just going to use a Sharpie marker. I tried using the Stampin' Right marker. It looked a bit pale. And then I tried using the Stampin' Blends, and that was almost a bit too fat. And the Sharpie marker just seemed to do it. But any marker you have, any sort of narrow marker that you have, would do the job splendidly. So that's all the bees done. Now what we need to do is do the leaves that the bees are holding on the inside. So these little guys. So again, we're going to use the stamping off method. So we'll do this in the Granny Apple Green. Stamp it off on the scratch of paper and put it inside the card so it's not overpoweringly strong. And we'll do the same with the one for the next layer up. So we'll stamp it off on a scratch of paper and stamp it inside the card. So that's both of those done. And then we'll bring in the sweet sorbet and the cute little flower. So we'll stamp it off and put it there. And then we'll stamp it off and we'll put it on the end of there, and that is rather cute. Then what we need to do is add the bees. So they're just going to be stuck down with regular adhesive. I'm going to put the front on with dimensionals, so we don't want the whole thing to be too fat. So it's best to limit the amount of dimensionals, otherwise your mailing becomes a little bit too fat and they'll charge you extra for it. So we'll pop him just a little bit above the leaf so his arms will be able to reach. And again with this little bee guy here, you can overhang of course, because this is going to be much tucked in the inside of the card. And then we'll bring back in the marker and literally just following, oh, it's stuck to me, following the pattern of the bees that's on the designer series paper, and that's all ready to be built. So actually, you know what, we'll go ahead and build everybody first and then we can do all the stamping. So these guys, well, this guy with his two wings I thought was quite cute, so I'm actually going to attach him with dimensionals. And then we can put the actual square he fits onto with dimensionals, and I'll show you a little get away with it being too fat for mailing trick. So we'll pop that on there, and then we'll just put this onto the black with regular adhesive. But actually I'm going to save the mailing trick till the end because I need to stamp on there, and I don't want to stamp when it's got, oops, I don't want to stamp, sorry, drop my dimensionals, don't want to stamp when it's got dimensionals underneath it in case it throws it off. So let's build it together. designer series paper on. It's just one layer different. And then we will go ahead and put the inside, the ZZ shape, just goes onto the inside piece. So you've got the smaller piece left over, and line that up in the center. And then what you need to do is put only adhesive on this little extra piece, and then we're going to put the top layer over the bottom layer, just match up all the edges, and then when it's done it will stretch. So what we need to do, last but not least, is put the greetings on the inside. So let me find them. So let's do Be Mine for the front. Be mine, please be mine, please. And then we'll pop that off. And the next greeting was, oh my gosh, you will always be the one for me. I think that's what it says. It's hard to read it upside down, inside out when it's see-through. You'll always be the one for me. Yes, indeed. So we'll pop that one there where it can be seen. And then the last one will be the Valentine greeting. Woo! That would have been a bit silly, wouldn't it? And this one can say Happy Valentine's Day. So now we've got all of the card ready. And let's bring back in the base, and I'll show you how you can get away with having extra dimensionals. As long as you don't have two, as long as they're not double thick, they will squash into each other. Let me show you what I mean by that. So these have obviously got just the dimensional on the outside edge. And the dimensionals on the B are on the inside. So if we pop this onto the front, when it goes in the envelope and it goes through the mailing, this can actually go down inside these ones, and it's not double thick, so it will get through the post office machine without being charged too much. So there you have it. Be mine, you'll always be the one for me. Happy Valentine's Day. I just think this is the cutest little set ever. I will try and limit myself to how many times I do the Technic Tuesdays and the videos using it, but I just had to do this one. So thank you so much for watching. If you like what you've seen, please hit subscribe. If you like it, please like it. If there's a comment or a question, put them in the description box below and I will do my best to get back to you. And as I always say at the end of all my videos, thanks so much for watching.